Education has long been seen as the key to Africa's progress, but today that belief is being questioned. Millions of African youth graduate every year, yet many remain unemployed or underprepared for the real world. Has formal education lost its value, or is it still relevant to make sure that we are future forward as Africans? It's time for the African View debate here on the move. And today we're asking the question, is formal education overrated in Africa today? Well, the participants of today's debate are Anytah Malunga, communications coach here in South Africa, and coming to us from Nigeria is Kelechi Uchenna, science, technology and engineering and mathematics expert. That's a STEM expert and educator. Thank you both for joining us in today's African View. I'm going to start with you, Anytah. Thank you for your time. Let's have your opening statements on your thoughts on whether formal education is still relevant in today's Africa.
Thank you very much, Palesa, for having me. Mine is formal education in Africa is overrated. And I think we have to start by defining what overrated means. The value that the formal education as and organized learning in Africa as a whole that it produces is irrelevant. It's impractical. It doesn't prepare the youth properly for the job market. So the pedestal we have put formal education on and the quality or the value it delivers do not match. So I remain on the stand that formal education is irrelevant, is overrated in Africa.
Let me come to you, Kelechi. When we speak about formal education, what exactly are we speaking about?
Okay, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here. Kelechi Uchenna, co-founder and CEO of an edtech company called Nigenius. It's important that I talk about what I do and the reasons why I stand with formal education. So at Nigenius, we do three things. We provide a software platform that provides teachers with quality resources. We provide parents with tutoring services, and we help schools deliver STEAM curriculums, right? Work with a lot of schools in Nigeria as well. Formal education can basically be described as K-12 education, which is kindergarten up to grade 12, which is SS3 in Nigeria, and tertiary, right? So this is a process that educates a child from infant age up to when they now get into the job market, right? This has been structured step by step and is in stages, right? For me, why I say that formal education isn't underrated, it's actually very important, is because when you complete these cycles, your mind develops, you develop the responsibility, the organizational skills, and the prerequisites that can help you survive in today's world, regardless of whether you get the job that you want or the job that you didn't plan for, right? Education is not just only for grades, it's also about creativity, it's also about problem solving. And just to put out something here, there are three things that can happen to you when you finish school, which is formal education. You can either get a job, earn a living, and sustain yourself and your family. You can decide to further, do a PhD, and now teach other people in the academia, or you can build a business and enterprise and employ people. So education is important, regardless of what you're studying. There are challenges, but it is important. Thank you.
Yeah, let me bring that back to Anytah, because Kelechi has highlighted some powerful things there, that education is empowering you to either create space for yourself in becoming an entrepreneur or actually getting employed or being employable. If you say it's overrated, what's your take on what Kelechi is saying there? Because he works in a STEM environment, it makes his type of work very relevant, because we know that we are in the AI era and that kind of skills are needed within the STEM subjects. So how do you respond to that, Anytah?
Okay. Let me take you back to my side of work. So what I do is capacity building, focusing mainly on communication skills development. How we work is we start by dismantling the limiting beliefs and preparing the mindset of an individual to see the qualities of their inner resources that they have available and to know how to use them and apply them in the job market in conjunction with their qualification. Now, what we find to be the problem is we have a lot of people that have gone through formal education, gone to universities, colleges, and have had their families spend a lot of money in trying to get them that education, but they are sitting at home with those degrees, with those qualifications, depressed, and not know how to then continue with their life and try to make a living for themselves, and also try to pay back the money that they are owing in financial debt. So what we do is we try to teach people skills that will help them to continue to produce results in whatever capacity, whether they find a job, whether they start a business themselves.
Sure.
But what we focus on is the power of soft skills. Education is there, and mostly it focuses on theory. It doesn't necessarily prepare people for the job market today. So people are basically being taught for jobs that no longer exist.
I mean,
instead of being equipped with
that's a powerful thing that you're saying
to grade by regardless what they possess in terms of paper.
Okay. Sorry, we had a delay there, but I want to get your thoughts on those soft skills that you're talking about. Those soft skills, don't you think they are complemented by the formal education? So you can't have one and not the other.
They are certainly complemented by the formal education. However, what we are saying is, let's not get the youth to have a tunnel view focus that says, if I don't have a degree, I'm not able to sit in decision-making tables, or I'm not able to contribute on Africa's economy. There are so many things you can do. You were born with a purpose. You have a wealth and depth and richness of inner resources. All you have to do is to harness and identify your already existing skills and continue to operate in whatever office or whatever place you find yourself in the environment that you have around you, regardless of the paper or qualification. There's more to life, there's more to productivity, there's more we have to do as Africans, despite the formal education.
Kelechi, when I was in school, I learnt about the anatomy of a cricket. And to this day, I've never had to use the anatomy of a cricket for anything. And a lot of people say, maybe education might be important, but is the overrated part of it is those things that we can't actually be using practically in our everyday lives?
Yes. So that's a very good question. So no knowledge is wasted. Right? Even the anatomy of the cricket, there will come a time where you will need to talk about that cricket. Whether you're talking to your kid or maybe doing a presentation in class, there's no knowledge is wasted. It will be useful one day, right? And I get where Anytah is coming from, right? I used to do training on soft skills about 4 years ago in Nigeria, right? But I found out something. In sub-Saharan Africa, where the economies and the countries are developing, soft skills are important, but the hard skills are more important. The hard skills are the skills that the technical skills get the job done, and the person is able to earn a living, right? Fine, you need to be able to communicate, you need to be able to have empathy, you need to be able to collaborate, but can you fix the motherboard? Can you code? Can you build engineering systems? That's what people want to pay for first. Right?
Kelechi, we have
these are hard
just
skills.
Hold on there, Kelechi. I think we want to continue the thought, and I want you to elaborate on it because you're touching on something very important. But we're going to go to a break quickly, and then we'll come back to you, Kelechi.
The KwaZulu-Natal Convention Bureau, in collaboration with Milvest Advisory and the city of Moshatama, brings you the 2025 Tourism Investment Forum, Africa. By positioning these regions for sustainable growth, TIFA helps drive their economic ambitions while providing access to critical capital, networks, and strategic insights on investments in the trade services sector, such as tourism. Join us for the TIFA 2025 from August 27 to 29 at Tembela Venue, Richards Bay, KZN, South Africa. Be part of the movement transforming tourism and infrastructure in Africa. Keeping you on the know and on the move.
All right, we've got a wonderful theme today on our the Africa View debate. We're asking, is formal education overrated in Africa today? Giving us wonderful varying thoughts is Anytah Malunga, communications coach in South Africa. Kelechi Uchenna is a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM and educator. Kelechi, you were speaking about that question Palesa was asking in terms of the usefulness of education.
Yeah. So like I said, no knowledge is wasted. There will come a time when that knowledge will be required by you. It could be in the class, it could be talking to somebody about it, it could even be having conversations with a biologist over dinner, right? So, but no knowledge is wasted. Yes, there are gaps in the curriculum, that some things that are being taught now are not up to date, like best world practices. And that's where technology and us edtech people and professionals need to come together and improve our curricula, to be more modern, right? But these things are important. I just wanted to focus on the hard skills. The technical skills are also as important as the soft skills, because the technical skills get the job done, while the soft skills help you do the job well in a good environment, right? Now, education, like I always said, education has three pathways. Even if once you've had an education, it's not just for you to get a job. You can also create, right? You can create. I spent some time out of work, 2-3 months where I didn't have a job. I told myself I had to create a business and solve a problem. I wasn't just going to be dormant because I hadn't got a job.
Yeah.
And I created my first company, Innovative Digital Learning. So, so education, the process helps you not only get a job, but it also helps you to be able to create and solve problems and employ people and build economies. And you can also teach others, which is the academia as well. So no knowledge is wasted. The hard skills are important as the soft skills, and we can improve our curriculum to make it more updated and make it more relevant for today.
Anytah, your response to I don't know if you heard what Kelechi was saying. What's your response to that?
I love that he highlighted that there truly is a gap in the syllabus that currently exists. That's exactly my point, that the quantity of graduates is very high. However, the quality of the education that they have acquired continues to collapse. Now, the problem is students memorize their theories. They learn the theoretical side of whatever they are being taught. When it comes to practically applying those skills, they are unable. And when it comes to also creating jobs for themselves, they find themselves running short of the ability to then start creating those jobs. So I work also with the youth from rural areas, where I see the problem of people that have spent years in college, that have spent years in universities, but they still sitting at home with their certificates. They don't know what else they can do outside of that box that they put themselves in. So what we are basically saying on our side is there are vocational skills that are available. People should go out there and continue to equip themselves with other skills that will help them to continue to participate in the building and the transformation of South Africa as a whole, not just focusing on the paper that has proven that it is running short and it's limited in some ways.
Kelechi, in response to that, I mean, you've spoken a lot about the great importance of formal education and how, all education cannot go to waste. Why do you think we have such a gap right now when it comes to employment and just general, growth of the youth in Africa?
Good. So, in my previous responses, I highlighted some of the gaps, but now let's talk about the solutions and how things are changing, right? Especially with what we're doing in the STEAM space. It's now STEAM, it's no longer STEM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So these are some of the things that are making learning much more relevant today and much more job ready. So right now, when I was in grade 1, we didn't do anything like coding, we didn't build robots, but kids today in Nigerian schools and in African schools, I'm sure in South Africa as well, are coding. They're doing Scratch, they're doing HTML, they're building robots with Arduino boards, right? With these skills from grade one, right? Imagine what they'll be doing when they get to high school, right? They'll be building more advanced, complex robots, more STEM projects. And when they get into the university, they're in innovation labs, right? So these are some of the things. Early STEM education in primary, secondary, and in university prepare students for the real technology fast-driven world.
All right, I
right?
want to come in
Yes.
there, Kelechi, because I
Yes.
know quite a
Yeah.
number of schools here in South Africa. I have a child who went through the entire school system, and that still hasn't been implemented here in our South African schools unless we're speaking about private education. And I can imagine it's expensive to start implementing those things. So formal education as is right now in Africa, would you say then that you are saying that it is overrated because there are things that need to change and things that need to be future forward? But as things stand now, is education future forward on the continent?
I would say Africa is rising. It's not there yet, but it's rising. Now, let me give some examples. So you talked about the public schools not being able to do STEM and coding and robotics. Right now, companies like Nigenius were building cheap and affordable robotics kits, right? We're doing workbooks for coding and robotics, right? So it's no longer expensive to get this advanced knowledge that these students need. So the governments, organizations, the local governments, the ministries of educations need to come down and look at what the young people, the technology companies, the edtech companies are doing, right? Africa's education is going to be solved, but not by shiny apps, right? It's going to be solved by new frameworks, new methods of learning, offline, adaptive, and on-site hardware especially. So we have the power and the knowledge to solve all our problems, to give access to everybody, high income, middle income, and low income, and build on our already good formal education and make it better at par with the Western world.
Anytah, I'm sure you're saying, hey, let's get more practical on this one. How do you think we need to get more practical with our education? Because it feels like that's the theme of your argument here.
A total transformation needs to take place in everything. The syllabus is outdated. It was created, I don't know how many years ago, and the markets and the needs of the markets are different. They require practical ability for the youth to be able to show up correctly for those roles that they get. So what can we do currently as it stands to begin the transformation? Let's work on the skills in sharpening the skills of the youth, and also making sure that we avail vocational, maybe short courses are available online. We have informal learning that is also available. We also have sites that allow you to study something for a period of like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You will be learning skills that you can apply in connection, maybe pairing it with your certificate or your degree or your qualification. So let's invest more energy and more time in vocational training to ensure that we have the practical and relevant and indispensable skills for the market today, not for the markets that existed back then.
Well, it's powerful what you guys are both saying, and I don't know which side to stand, or maybe there's a middle ground between the two of you. Hey, we've got a poll on our X handle. Want to get your thoughts on it. Check out the On The Move poll where we're asking, is formal education overrated in Africa today? Is formal education overrated on the continent today? We've got 4 options there. The first option being curriculum outdated. Second option, degrees, no jobs. Third option is still path out of poverty. And 4 is improve but don't reject education. So give us your thoughts on our X handle at Channel Africa 1. Thanks to our guests for giving us this compelling view and different sides, of course. Anytah Malunga is communications coach here in South Africa. Kelechi Uchenna is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics expert and educator here in Nigeria. Thank you both for giving us your time. Well, that conversation takes us to 10:31 Central African time. Let's quickly move on and get our sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Sports Desk.